Hello everyone, welcome back to another watch review. Today I have something very special to share with you. I actually waited months and months after the pre-order to get this, and I'm sure you guys will agree that it was actually worth it. So today we're going to be looking at the Area Nostalgia Clocktower right here. And it's actually a first edition model limited to 100 pieces uh, per type of dial, I should say. And specifically, this one that we're looking at today is the Mother of Pearl dial, which sold out before the end of the first month.
Now, if you don't know the brand Area Nostalgia, it's a brand that was recently created by YouTuber and watch enthusiast Top Tier Ticker, also known as Kieran Walsh. He's from the greater Manchester area, which is going to be important later in this video. These first four releases from Area Nostalgia are all in his Clocktower range, which feature four different dials. While these pre-orders are only just out, they've only just shipped, there's a new version that he's just released, which is especially Manchester themed, which is a version of the Clocktower with a B on it to represent the city's hard work ethic and sense of community. So now that I've given that context, let's move on to the watch we're reviewing today.
So the pre-order window was kind of a better price to get it at. I think there were varying prices for which window you got it in. I think this one sold out in the first window though. So I actually got this for $300 in USD. And I know that purchasing it at the new price, which is like just right now without the pre-order, it would be $429 for the base models that are left, which would only be the champagne dial and the teal dial, because the full luminous and Mother of Pearl both sold out. There is also a new model, the Manchester B, which is $479 USD. So that one I could not afford. So thankfully I got this one. So moving on to the packaging, we actually have a pretty standard box. It just says Area Nostalgia in first edition. It's a sleeve, which is pretty common with these sort of affordable options. And so when you open it up, it's actually got sort of a side opening. When you open it up, you get these two placements. It's actually, we have the Milanese strap here and the Saffiano strap here. And then you have the Clocktower body, the case itself, right here in this portion. I did not put the Milanese strap on because it was a little more difficult. I didn't have a screwdriver at the time, so I put the Saffiano strap on. And the Saffiano strap actually looks really good in my opinion, so I kept it on. I do want to try out the Milanese strap at some point, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so we'll see.
So if you don't want the black Saffiano strap, you can actually choose some sort of cream suede strap or the leather strap. For me, it was between the suede or Saffiano. I don't really appreciate the leather as much. I don't think it looks as good. But the suede one, I believe, is now more toned down than this one. It's not as orange anymore. It's more earth tone. So if you wanted to get that one, just be aware of that and make sure you check out some of his more recent videos on it. I believe that is where he showcases that. But yeah.
So to begin, we can't really go much further without addressing the case, because, I mean, look at this. The engraving on the case is actually really nice, especially in person. It was even better than I expected from the photos on the website and from the video. It's just really detailed, and it's especially good on like such a small watch as well. So obviously the case shape is tank style. It's a square. The careful attention to detail is kind of where you get the inspiration for the name. You see these, this whole design is supposed to be like a clock tower, as the name would imply. And it's based on like Gothic style clock towers seen across the United Kingdom. The case is made of 316L stainless steel with a diameter of 30 millimeters, which is quite small. It actually fits pretty well on my small wrist, which is actually pretty cool because most watches are a little bit big. I'm actually wearing this one today, which looks huge on my wrist. It's the Boder Asymmetry chronograph. But yeah, so the case diameter is 30 millimeters, the thickness is 9 millimeters, and the lug to lug is 39 millimeters with a 20 millimeter lug width, which is pretty standard. So if you're trying to get any straps for it on the aftermarket, it should be fairly easy. So, despite the tank style case, you actually get a circular dial. It looks all white right here, but it's actually mother of pearl, as we discussed. You can kind of see the effect a little bit, but it's pretty subtle. So, at a distance, it just looks like it's a full plain white dial, which is kind of, in my opinion, a little bit more professional, a little bit more classy. But I really like the mother of pearl feature of the dial because when you actually go to check it yourself, it's much more apparent. So it's kind of like a secret that like just the wearer kind of gets to see it, or like someone looking really closely, if they appreciate the watch, will see it. But it's kind of something that you have to be really close up to see. It's actually, this dial is protected behind a sapphire crystal, which is always good. And it has anti-reflective coating, which is great. You can more easily tell the time in the light. You know, you won't have as many issues reading it. And because the watch is so small, I think that's what really causes the effect to be so light, sort of so minimal. But yeah, when you look at it in the right lighting, even it might be more apparent at a distance. I'm not sure. I've actually only got this for a few days because, as I said earlier, the order's just shipped, and I only just received it maybe 2-3 days ago. But yeah, I mean, you obviously can see that on the dial it says Area Nostalgia, which is a little bit controversial, which we'll get into in a bit. And then at the bottom of the dial it has first edition, as it is one of the first edition models. Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I think the dial is great, but the case is what really steals the show for me. So it's a little bit of just supplemental to the case, and I think it does a good enough job to pull it together. Okay, so the hands are somewhat deep blue. They kind of look heat treated a little bit, but I don't think they are because that would add quite a bit to the cost. Usually they would tell you because it's kind of like an artisan thing. It is a mechanical hand wind watch. It's not automatic, so you won't be able to just walk around and hope it like keeps that charge, keeps that power reserve. You're gonna have to hand wind it every day. I've had no problems with it. I just wind it like once a day, and then it carries on for quite a while, which I didn't expect because the hand wind is actually pretty short for how long you have to wind it for. But it actually works really well. It's kept time almost perfectly over the 3 days that it's been wound without having to adjust the time. As you can see, the seconds hand has a really good sweeping motion due to it being mechanical, but it's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. But that also might be because it's so small. It has sort of less of a distance from the seconds hand from the center to the outer ring, making it a little bit easier to have that short sort of distance between each tick. Whereas if it was a bit longer, it would look like it's traveling more distance at the outer part of the ring. Okay, so we're on to a very short segment here, which is about the crown. So the crown has the same engraving as the corners of the case, and it is a push-pull crown, meaning you don't have to unscrew it. It's not a screw-down crown, which makes sense because this is a dress watch, not a diver. And yeah, so I mean, it makes it easier to set the time. There's no go stay position, which is great. You're not going to mess up when setting the time. You're not going to have any damage from accidentally grinding gears because there's no go stay. So a lot of people usually make that complaint. It seems really quality from everything I've seen from it so far, which is fantastic. It's got polishing, brushing, you know, I don't know, it just all pulls together really well. But we'll get into that more later with my final thoughts. Just letting you know how the crown works. Alright guys, so now it's time to check out that case back. Sorry, you can see all my equipment here. Let me zoom in a little bit, or not zoom in, bring it up a bit closer. You see the Clocktower text up here. You see the Manchester city skyline engraved here. And then there's actually the planet Saturn right there. That's Kieran's favorite planet. And it says 008/100. That's because this is the 8th out of 100. But the reason that this skyline was part of this case back rather than displaying the movement, which is actually really nice looking, is because this was Kieran's last memory with his grandmother, and I think that's really sweet. It's really meaningful to him, and I think that's what's really important is the storytelling behind the watch. yeah, I mean, it looks great. Even though an exhibition would look better, I think it's more meaningful to have it this way. So now we should probably talk about the movement. It's a Seagull ST6103K. So it's obviously manual wind, like we said before, hacking seconds, no ghost date position, 36-hour power reserve, and it's 21,600 BPH. So that's vibrations per hour. So this watch is pretty long in its power reserve for a manual wind. Usually I'll have to wind this Botery probably about the same. And that Botery was probably around the same price range, but honestly I love the look of this. I love this so much more, and I love this Botery. So it's really something special, this one. I don't know how to explain it. It just looks great, and it's at a great price. Almost forgot to mention, it is also 17 joules, the movement. And the water resistance is 50 meters, which is kind of the bare minimum for a watch, in my opinion. I know I've had some cheap watches that are basically 0, and I've had some that are 30 meters, but 50 meters is about what I feel comfortable with for washing my hands even, because that can be pretty varying in its actual quality of the water resistance. That's just like the average kind of. It's like most of them will be 50 meters, but it doesn't necessarily mean yours will be. So I'm really only comfortable washing my hands with these. I wouldn't, take it out in the rain, or if I did, I would cover it. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense because this is a dress watch, again, not a diving watch, which would, make more sense to have the screw down crown and have a higher water resistance at that point. But I think this is probably about right for a dress watch. I mean, it's the same as my Hamilton Jazzmaster, which is about the same price range. I actually paid more for that than I paid for this, because this was in the pre-order stage. All right, so moving on to criticisms. The main criticism I have seen is this brand name right here, Area Nostalgia. A lot of people say it's kind of like akin to the worst of the AliExpress names. It's also sort of, I mean, he gave his reasoning in his video. I recommend you watch it for why he named it Area Nostalgia. But to be honest, it isn't the best name. I agree with that, but I don't really take much issue with it because the watch looks great. I'm not really going to be looking at the name. I'm going to be looking at the case and that dial without really reading the text. So it doesn't really matter to me much. I know a lot of people did have issues with that though, so I thought I'd bring that up. A lot of people recommended other names, or even just using AN or Arnos. I've seen that. But yeah, and then the water resistance is something that some people might bring up. I think it's about right for a dress watch based on other dress watches in that price range, even more expensive. It's really not supposed to be in the rain in the first place, so I mean, if it's 50 meters, that's fine with me. Another complaint would just be it has no lume. I also don't mind that because, again, this is a dress watch. The only one that I think has lume in this range is the full luminous and the Manchester B, which just came out. The full luminous makes sense because it's full lume and it's supposed to be like the Clocktower, even more than some of the other ones in the range, specifically like how Clocktowers light up at night to sort of show the time more easily, because otherwise they're kind of useless to have at night. Yeah, I mean, I think all of these criticisms kind of don't really matter much to me. Honestly, I think this watch is almost perfect, and that's kind of my final thought, really, is that this is a beautiful watch. The complaints don't really resonate with me, so I think for me this is one of my favorite watches in my collection already, and I really think it's going to get a lot of wrist time. In terms of my final thoughts, I think I've made it pretty clear that I do like this watch a lot. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised that I would recommend this. If you've been thinking about buying one, I'd say go for it. The champagne dial and the teal both look great. I would probably go with the champagne dial for what's left. And the Manchester B, if you have the money, looks great. Personally, I'd still probably go for the champagne dial, but with the suede strap. Yeah, I mean, I have a fairly sizable collection. This is one of my favorites already, and I really think it's going to get a lot of wrist time. The case is even better than I expected, and I really expected a lot from it. The sweep of the seconds hands and the keeping of the time that it actually does is really good. I mean, I've not really had to adjust it at all. Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible, and I really think this is good value for money. It's actually, I like this probably more than I even like my SRPB 77 Seiko, which is the cocktail time. I would probably recommend this, especially if you can get it at like a pre-order price if they do that in the future for a different model. I would really recommend this even over that, even maybe with the increased price, because this watch is just beautiful. I don't really have much more to say than that. Yeah. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you make a decision if you were looking for that. I hope any watch enthusiasts out there will subscribe. And yeah, go watch another video.